The Order of Kincardine Ceremony and Celebration, celebrating the contributions of Kincardine area veterans.
So we're recognizing today veterans of both World War II as well as Korean veterans. And you know, one of the things that they said about both World War I and World War II was that it was a war to end all wars. Too bad that wasn't true. Anyway, I'd like to recognize and thank the Legion for organizing this. I'd like to thank Donna. I'd like to thank our friends at Bruce Power, who as soon as they heard it said, we got to be part of this, and we gotta help how we can as well as many others. I'd like to thank our staff, Linda Dyer and Corinne Cleary, for organizing this. They always do such great work when given an opportunity to show how what a great place Kincardine is, and we really appreciate that. You know, as those who didn't fight or didn't have to make that contribution, it's humbling to think of the world that we have today and what was bought with such a dear price. You know, our freedom, 50 or 60 or 70 years of wealth and new industries and new science, all that grew out of this great conflict, and how close it was. Anybody that studied it knows that it was very, very close for a while, and we shudder to think of what kind of society or what kind of earth we could have inherited had our people not been victorious or hadn't they reigned. So I think that this is a good occasion to reflect on that as well. We also wanted our veterans' families and our veterans' friends to know that as a community, our council, our staff, the people of Kincardine, that we really appreciated and really cherished the contributions that were made. So, you know, on behalf of that, I would really like to thank you all for joining us here today. If I've missed anybody that helped, please accept my thanks from that regard. And most particularly to our veterans, you know, we really appreciate the contribution that you've made, you know, during the major conflicts, but not just that, the work that you've done and the contributions you've made to your community and your families through the years. So anyway, thank you so much.
Keith Armstrong, RCAF, airframe mechanic, 1942 to 1946. Cliff Buckingham, Air Force, 1941 to 1945. Emma Campbell, Army, 1942 to 1946. Alexander Clark, British Army, 1944 to 1947.
He still looks pretty healthy, doesn't he?
Margaret Clark, British Army, 1944 to 1947. Richard Colwell, Air Force, 1939 to 1946. Jack Demmar, Royal Marines, 1942 to 1946. David Dickson, Canadian Navy, 1940 to 1945. Clarence A. Diebold, Army, 1941 to 1944. Norman Dunsmoor, Canadian Army, April 1945 to August 1945. Wes Giesz, Army Mechanic Engineer, 1941 to 1946. Stan Godard, British Army, 1943 to 1949. John Hill, Canadian Navy, 1944 to 1946. Lawrence Holder, Royal Canadian Air Force, 1939 to 1945.
Mistaken, I believe he was one of our Spitfire pilots.
Reid Hutchinson, 92 East India Squadron, 244 Wing, Desert Air Force, 1944 to 1945. Harold Lewis, Canadian Army, 1942 to 1945. Ken Linklater, RCAF, 1941 to 1945. Stuart Loree, Navy, 1944 to 1946. Eileen McMasters, CWAC, 1943 to 1946. Charles Mann, non-permanent active mission, 1937 to 1940. Active Army, 1940 to 1946. Harvey McCaig, Canadian Army, 1944 to 1945. Howard Monroe, Army, 1942 to 1945. Jack Muszynski, Navy, 1943 to 1945. Muriel Newton, RCN Wrens, 1943 to 1946. Jack Pym, 1st Canadian Parachute Battalion, 1944 to 1946.
Thank you.
Alf Rackley, Army, Queen's Regiment, 1944 to 1947.
Three or 4 pages long. Major General Romer is arguably Canada's most decorated citizen as well
Richard
as a
Romer,
veteran.
RCAF, as a
Author
fighter
of some
reconnaissance
18
pilot during
fiction
1942 to
books, approximately
1945.
13 non-fiction as well as others. His papers are in the archives of York University and in the National Archives of Ottawa. He served with the RCAF as a fighter reconnaissance pilot during 42-43. He took part in the D-Day operation, served in France, Belgium, and
John Shepard, Merchant Marine, 1943 to 1945. Army, 1945 to 1947. The Order of Kincardine is accepted by Bonnie Kramer.
my dad is still a very good snooker player.
Klaas Smidt, Dutch Navy, 1945 to 1949. John Smith, British Dragoons, 1943 to 1946. Olive Smith, Women's Land Army, 1942 to 1945. Arthur Turland, RAF, 1939 to 1946. Doreen Wardly-Nowell, Navy, 1945 to 1948. Donald Weber, Medical Corps, 1942 to 1946. Cam Weese, Royal Canadian Army, 1940 to 1945. The Order of Kincardine accepted by grandson Chris Silbuski.
Chris again is
Maria
taking
Weese,
care of things.
Auxiliary Territorial Service, UK, 1940 to 1945. The Order of Kincardine accepted by grandson Chris Silbuski. Rebecca Wilson, WAAF, Scotland, 1941 to 1944.
Yeah, there you go.
Jean York, WAC, 1943 to 1945. Eugene Harrison.
He is on HMCS Athabasca in Korea.
Robert
52,
Larson,
53.
Royal Canadian Navy and Canadian Forces, 1951 to 1980. Murray Lee, Army, 1942 to 1947. The Order of Kincardine accepted by daughter Susan Hackett. Stanley Kennard, Army, 1942 to 1947. Laura Lankin, CWAC, 1944 to 1946. John Locke, British Army, 1943 to 1947. Ernest Murdoch. Walter Revell, Army, 1944 to 1945. Ardwell G. Tuddenham, British Navy, 1945 to 1947.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful day for our veterans, their families, who I notice we're very proud of them, and the community of Kincardine. I'd like to congratulate all of you on behalf of Ben Lobb. I know sincerely he wishes he could be here, because there seems to be a renewed sense of appreciation and admiration for our veterans, as well as our soldiers that are currently serving abroad. Just a couple of weeks ago, I had the occasion to attend the Portrait of Honor unveiling in Wingham, and it's a kinsman initiative whereby they've recognized all our fallen soldiers in Afghanistan, and they brought Matt Dinning home to 600 students along with his compatriots. And it's just amazing to think that in 2011, the enthusiasm and the pride that we have in our soldiers and our veterans continue today. Congratulations to Larry and his team for taking on this initiative and awarding the Order of Kincardine to very serving and deserving recipients today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your kind invitation to attend the ceremony and celebration for the Order of Kincardine Awards. Although I can't be with you, I am pleased to send greetings on my behalf from the province. It is an honor and privilege for me to offer congratulations to the award recipients. I want you to know that your sense of duty, sacrifice, and service to Canada is much appreciated. While we sometimes take our liberty for granted, we must remember that freedom was not free. Thank you, veterans, for a job well done. At this time, I'd also like to express my gratitude to the municipality of Kincardine, the Royal Canadian Legion for all the work that went into this, Bruce Power for making it possible today. You are commended for your role in remembrance and recognition for our veterans' military service. Thank you. Enjoy the afternoon.
Well, this was actually the brainchild of Donna Wilson, And she's been working on it for a year and a half, and she had the support and the help of our staff. And on behalf of our council, our staff, and myself, I'd like to thank you for all the work you did organizing this and the great ideas. Thank you so much.
This is a real surprise. Thank you very much. I could not possibly have done this without all my volunteers. I didn't have one single volunteer who said, no, I'm busy. They all came forth and helped. And I would really like to give a big hand to all our volunteers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and a pleasure to accept the kind invitation from Kincardine to attend this honors and awards presentation to all the veterans. It's a duly award, and it's great that the community gets behind the community of Kincardine and surrounding area to get behind their veterans and show the appreciation that they truly deserve. So once again, I thank you for the kind invitation, and I do bring you greetings on behalf of Andre Paquette, who is the President of Ontario Command and the Senior Elected Officer. So thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the municipality of Kincardine for the kind invitation to attend today. Secondly, I'd like to pass all the congratulations to all the veterans that received medals today and thank them very generously for their services that they rendered and the freedoms that we all enjoy today. Without those freedoms, we wouldn't be sitting here enjoying this atmosphere. Again, I thank you for the kind invitation and enjoy the afternoon ahead. Thank you.
On behalf of Zone C1, Royal Canadian Legion, I thank you also for invitation for my wife and I today. I would especially like to say congratulations and thank you to our veterans. As Stu said, if it wasn't for them, where would we be? I'd also like to congratulate the town of Kincardine and the Kincardine Legion for putting on a magnificent display and honors and awards that they have done today. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I was just blaming Maureen for making her have me get up here and speak because I knew nothing about it. In fact, at 1:30 this afternoon, I didn't even know I was coming. Again, I would also like to thank and congratulate everyone who has received an award today. It is because of the uniform that you wore so many years ago that we put on this uniform today, and I thank you for that. I look forward to your comradeship afterwards. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor Kramer, veterans and honored guests. On behalf of the Royal Canadian Legion, McDonald Branch 183 Kincardine, I wish to welcome you to today's ceremony and thank you all for coming. Rather than traditional greetings, I would like to read to you a poem by Jared Jenkins, which I believe puts into words what we all feel today. It's called Heroes. In war, there are lives risked and lives taken, men and women giving their best to defend what they love. They defend their country, their honor, their people. Some call them soldiers, others call them heroes. Our veterans have risked their lives for us. They have lived through hell and fought with honor. Many have killed and regret doing so. For every life there is a soul. For every soul there is a life. For those who have died, we show great appreciation and remembrance. For those who live, along with them live the horrific memories of battle. Some memories of defeat, some memories of victory. Our veterans were more than soldiers. They were and still are heroes. Once again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for the sacrifices you and your family have made. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brian Armstrong, and I'm Executive Vice President and General Counsel at Bruce Power. And on behalf of our Chairman, Bernard Michel, and the Board of Directors, our Chief Executive Officer, Duncan Hawthorne, and the management and staff of Bruce Power, I just want to say how delighted we are to have been asked and given the opportunity to play a sponsorship role in this event, and to honor all of those men and women from our community who have served our country and the cause of freedom around the world. And if I may be permitted a personal observation, events of this kind are always very meaningful to me, and I think to many members of my generation. I had many members of my family serve in the Second War, most particularly my late father, Lieutenant T. George Armstrong, who served in the Canadian Army, and his older brother, Lieutenant Colonel Robert W. Armstrong, who gave his life in the service of his country in Italy and is buried in the Canadian Cemetery in Ancona, which I had the great and very moving experience of visiting a number of years ago as a young man. And I've always been very proud and very grateful for the service, for their service, and for the service of those of you in this room who we honor today, because it was because of that service that the members of my generation were never called upon to make the same kind of sacrifice that those members of my family and those of you who we honor today made on our behalf. So if I can say very personally, thank you all very much.
This is a real surprise. I'm not supposed to be talking. I had this idea about 1.5 years ago, and I didn't really know how to go about it. And I talked to Mayor Larry Kramer, and we'd had several discussions with him and the CEO, John DeRosenall, and it just started to grow. And as it grew, it got bigger and bigger. It's been an awful lot of fun. I have got to meet pretty well every single one of the veterans. They are absolutely fabulous. And we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. We would not have the freedom that we have. They put their lives on hold for us to have freedom. So thank you, veterans, and I've thoroughly enjoyed meeting you one and all, and hope that we can continue that friendship. Thank you.
It sure won't do any harm, and in fact it will do a lot of good. Because after all, a lot of veterans never even get a handshake or what have you. But personally, I've been rather fortunate. But I am also involved with today's military, which I enjoy very much.
I think it's a marvelous community affair. Should be done for all veterans in all small towns who have been forgotten by the government and by everybody. There's so few of us left.
I would hope that every municipality in Canada would do something like this and have it grow. This is my dream, to have this happen.